Morning, and thank you for being here at the monthly update on the Hedge Invest Newman Credit Fund. The month of October was quite good for us. We're up around 1.5% across a variety of strategy, predominantly on the idiosyncratic side. We had a good call on Monte dei Paschi on the financial book. We participated in the capital increase by acquiring some of the LT2 bonds available in the market. We thought the capital increase would have been successful as the prospects of both the bank and the sector are much better, and so we managed to buy the bonds into the low 50s, and they achieve a price of anywhere between the 75 to 85, and at some point even 90s on some of our exit. We remain quite constructive on Monte dei Paschi on the LT2, especially now that the capital increase has happened. We think it will be in play as a merger candidate. And we also believe that banks in general have a much better time now with slightly raised interest rate environment, which we think is here to stay given the relatively stubborn inflation and the changing monetary policy across central banks. Overall, we like banks also because, as we've seen with Credit Suisse, there's a lot of perception and consensus that banks are going to be hit badly like they did in the crisis of 2008, 2009. We think it's quite the opposite. Banks are very regulated, capitalized, very well regulated and capitalized, and I think we will probably see the risk in different sector of financial system, like we've seen, for example, with central banks, which at the moment are collecting the biggest losses mark to market as opposed to financial institutions. Away from that, we had a pretty good month on the M&A side. We did pretty well on Twitter. We applied our kind of legal distress mindset to the Elon Musk negotiation, and we thought he would have never been able to sit down at the deposition in front of the Delaware court. And so because of that, we were timing him to actually close and settle just before the deposition, and that is what happened. So it was quite good. The macro side was a bit disappointing because we had a very strong month the first half, and then we were a bit too slow in taking off some of the most liquid shorts, and so we gave up quite a bit and actually ended up having a loss. But on the macro side, but overall we kept most of the position. We are particularly negative on UK. We think there's a lot of cost associated with Brexit, with stagflation, lack of labor input from Europe, and so we think there's very little fiscal monetary policy we'll be able to do, and I think we'll see a continuous deterioration. So we kept plenty of shorts on banks and insurance company in UK. Macro side, I think we may be getting close to a bit of an inflection point. Maybe inflation is about to slow down a bit, and central banks may actually become a little bit more constructive, less hawkish. And so because of that, we think there is a chance that we see a bit of a pivot. We may also see a bit of a pivot on the war. All of those may very well be just temporary solutions. There's nothing structural, but they may give the reason for the market to actually have a constructive stance between now and year end. But obviously we remain very cautious. We keep on building on the book of special sits. There's a lot of mispricing, a lot of volatility in a lot of corporate sectors and corporate names, but we think they're a great opportunity to start buying, obviously as long as you're capable of being very short on the either macro hedging side to preserve the capital in the book. Thank you.